JB Sports back with another one. We're going to talk about Vasily Lomachenko once again calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. Lomachenko says that he will fight Davis for free. He said that's the fight he wants. He will be willing to move back down to 130 and fight Tank Davis for free. I think, that sounds good. A lot of fighters say, oh, man, it's not about the money. I want this fight so bad, I'll fight for free. I've seen the other fighters say this. And that's a bunch of BS. There's nobody going to get in that ring and put their life on the line, take punches for free. There's nobody going to do that. I think Lomachenko is doing a little bit of clout chasing. He's got a fight that nobody asked for coming up on April the 12th against Anthony Crolla at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. It's a fight that nobody asked for, but it's a mandatory, and it's a fight that he has to take. And I think he's kind of frustrated, looking at the landscape of boxing. You're seeing guys that's on the pound-for-pound list with him having big, major fights. Look at Errol Spence, pound-for-pound fighting another pound-for-pound fighter in Mikey Garcia that did good numbers in AT&T Stadium. You got guys like Terrence Crawford getting ready to do a pay-per-view fight with Amir Khan. That's his second pay-per-view fight. He did one with Victor Posto. You see other guys like Keith Thurman being mentioned in a pay-per-view fight with Manny Pacquiao. You got Errol Spence, mentioning fighting Sean Showtime Porter in a fight that potentially could be on pay-per-view. So, he look at the landscape of the things. He's looking for that one guy that he can fight, that he can produce a major fight. There lies in Tank Davis. But that's a fight that, for political reasons, most likely not going to happen, as Lomachenko stated in this article. He says boxing is a business. We have different promoters. I'm with Bob Arum. He's with Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions, which makes the fight difficult to make. I'm fighting on ESPN. He's essentially fighting on Showtime. That makes the fight difficult to make. But when Bob Arum was asked about this, Bob Arum was saying that he don't think the fight can happen either, because he said it's not a pay-per-view fight. And I wonder why does it have to be a pay-per-view fight for it to be a big fight? Y'all can come together and have that fight on ESPN. Tank Davis is with Mayweather Promotion, but I don't think he's not signed to any network. So he could easily, if all parties really want to make the fight, he could easily come over to ESPN and make that fight on a regular ESPN. So I don't know. Bob Arum saying the fight is not a pay-per-view fight. He's not willing to make that type of fight. But he did say that a potential fight with he could fight. He got a potential matchup with a Comey coming up. He can have a fight with a Mikey Garcia or a Teofimo Lopez, and he thinks those two fights, either the Garcia fight or the Lopez fight, are pay-per-view fights. And that's kind of interesting too, because when you look at Teofimo Lopez, he's not even headlining a major card yet. He's fighting on the undercard of Terrence Crawford. So that's kind of interesting to make that statement, saying that that could be a potential pay-per-view fight. You look at Lomachenko, he's headlining a lot of fights, but it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of crowd they draw to this fight at Staples Center Friday night against Crolla, because when he's fought at Madison Square Garden, he hasn't even fought in the main arena. Many people don't know they got many arenas inside of Madison Square Garden. And I think the times that Lomachenko has fought there, he's fought at Hula Theater and places like that. He hasn't fought in the main room at Madison Square Garden. So interesting when you got a guy that hasn't fought, in Madison Square Garden, and a lot of his fights have been in smaller venues, fighting another guy in Lopez, potentially, a guy that haven't even headlined his own card yet. He's still fighting on undercards of other fighters. But it seems to be a lot of buzz around that, and that seems to be a fight that Top Rank down the line is willing to make as a pay-per-view fight. That fight, or a potential fight between him and Mikey Garcia, assuming Mikey Garcia moves back down to 135 pounds. And that goes against what Bob Arum said earlier. Bob Arum said right after the Mikey Garcia Errol Spence fight that Mikey Garcia was a mutt, and that fight had lost its appeal, and there's no way it was going to be a 50-50 fight. Mikey would definitely be the B-side in that fight, and he would have to take the lesser split. That's what he said then. But now he's saying that it's a pay-per-view fight. If that's a pay-per-view fight, and it's not a 50-50 split, it's a higher split, it's going to have to end up going to a Mikey Garcia, because he's actually headlining his own pay-per-view. He's actually done numbers good numbers at the Staples Center when he fought Robert Easter Jr. I think that fight drew around 12,000 plus in attendance in that fight. So we'll see. We'll compare that to what Lomachenko draws, you know, at the Staples Center this Friday night. We'll see. We'll compare and contrast that. But Mike has already headlined his own pay-per-view, and he's headlined a lot of major shows. So we'll see how that plays out. So again, Lomachenko calls out Tank Davis. You know, I think it's a little bit of clout chasing. It's a fight that unlikely to happen. The route he probably goes after he defeats Crowler is more likely going to be a matchup with a Comey. And then after that, I think they'll be trying to line him up with a Teofimo Lopez for later on in 2019 or early 2020, a big pay-per-view fight with Teofimo Lopez. I think that'll be the route he ends up going. Again, this is JB Boxing. A shout out to all my YouTubers and YouTubettes, and I'll be back with another one later. Peace.